Hey guys, I just want to say I'm sorry for how long this video is. It's semi more informational than anything regarding putting the bottom end together. There's no quick way of doing it because I feel like if I shorten it up and you guys just see me tossing it together, you're going to be like, well, kind of want to know what's going on. So there'll be the clearances that I use for the piston rings. Unfortunately, I already had like the crank and everything torqued down, so I couldn't get those clearances in. But plastic gauge, dial caliper, those things right there that I'm staring at, I can't remember. Filler gauges most definitely. You're going to need those. A good torque wrench, and a good torque wrench with a degree spec on it. So I would recommend going to Harbor Freight, get the Quinn digital torque wrench for like 160 bucks or something like that. And not only can you torque it down, you can also put your degree in there as well. The bottom end, like there's a lot of torque to yoke bolts. So the crank, you torque it down to 22 foot-pounds, but then you have to hit it in again with another 56 degrees to get it right. And then the rod bearings, or the rods in general, are 27 foot-pounds, and they take another 120 degrees of angle to hit the OEM recommendation for that proper torque. So just make sure you're prepared. Also get yourself some inverted torques. The rod bolts are going to be E14s, I believe. You cannot use a 6-point. You cannot use a 12-point. You have to get the proper bolts in order to get this together. Don't try to just slam it in there. It's not going to work. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not really looking to pay too much attention, put it on the background. I appreciate the views regardless. I hope you guys have
Yo, what's up, everybody? So be quiet. They see you. They do. This is Spoon. She talks a lot. This is the most vocal cat I've ever been around. But she is my baby. Thank you. Anyway, no, you're not going outside. What do you do? Look at this cat. Look at her. No, you're not going out there. It's right here. You want to try? Go ahead. It's raining. Oh my goodness. She used to be an indoor-outdoor cat, but once I moved, she's only been indoor, and I think it's kind of kicking her butt, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. All right, go that way so I can walk out. Okay. Anyway, so today, what I want to do is I'm gonna try and finish up the K24 bottom end. I have it, the bottom end halfway assembled. The crank's in. I went out and, you know, I got tired of dealing with the stupid little crank tool, or not the tool, crank tool, but the, what's it called? The angle finder or whatever. So let me get you guys like actually properly. So I went out. This is the wrong one. I've bought so many torque wrenches this last 2 months. It's ridiculous. This is my normal torque wrench. My bad. I have, wherever it may be, I have a digital torque wrench with built-in angle finder, and it's been really useful. Here it is. You know, so shout out to Harbor Freight for carrying these. It was like 130 bucks because I have the inside track, whatever the hell it is. So that's what I bought. But yeah, it has got all the functions that I need. So obviously it has the, you know, regular torque readings, but it also has the angle finder on it, which is dope. So probably one of the better tools I've bought in recent history. Anyway, beyond that, so I have the crank has been mounted in, torqued down to 22 foot-pounds and then 56 degrees of angle. Right now, the only thing I have to do is I am gapping out my might be gapping out my rings. So I'm doing cylinder number 1 right now. You can see the ring down in there, and the service limit is, well, not the service limit, but give me one moment here. So top ring gap is right here. So 8 thousandths of an inch to 14 thousandths of an inch. And I calculated this one for cylinder number 1 at about 10 thousandths to 11 thousandths. It was feeling really good up at the top of the board at 11 thousandths, and I pushed it down and got to about 10 thousandths ish, somewhere in there, which, you know, obviously is going to work. That's perfectly fine. Shouldn't have a problem with this. So what I'm gonna do is I need to get the second ring and see what that gap is like. So I know the top one's good. Let's do the second ring, see if I have to shift or, you know, trim it out a little bit. I shouldn't, but you never know. I am using Hastings piston rings. These are the piston rings I use in everything. I've used Nippon as well. They're really good, but Hastings, typically, I've never had any problems with them. The Integra has Hastings rings in it, and I don't have any blow-by issues or anything like that. So I call them good. Boom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you guys set up and the best that I can. And I'll probably just time-lapse me doing these rings because it's just redundant. You're just doing the same thing over and over and over again until you're done. I got to do, all said and done, 8 rings. I don't do the bottom rings because they are almost never out of spec. And they're so tiny and so small, they're kind of hard to trim. I've had to do it before, but that was on a rare occasion. I was also using really cheap eBay rings on something. Don't ever do that. Just get some name brand rings. OEM or name brand, don't mess with anything else. We plastic gauged out the rods as well. Butter. These ACL race bearings, I'm really loving the clearance that they have. So I should be able to run, I can run your, I think, what are these, 5W20, 5W30? Whatever standard motor oil these call for. I'm probably going to run like 10W30 or something like that. This is an all motor car, so I'm not really worried about having a bunch of clearance. I mean, it's going to see a lot of higher RPM, but it's not going to be detrimental. Like, I don't have to run 15W40 like I do in the Integra because it's not going to see nearly as much heat. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get you guys set up on the stand and time lapse me doing these rings. So I'll see you guys back. All right, so I got all the top rings measured out. All of them falling well within spec. I just used, I can't get this to focus. Hold on, there, maybe. This is an 11,000 filler gauge. Like I said, well within spec. The reason I'm not too worried about these tolerances being really tight is because, like I said, number one, they're within spec, and number two, it's going to be a very, very long time when and if it does happen that this motor ever sees any type of power adder. So with it being just a OEM style rebuilt long block, having that tight of a clearance on my rings does not bother me one bit. So I'm gonna continue going on. I'm gonna hit the second ones real quick, just do all 4 once again, make sure they're all within spec. Then after that, I'm gonna clean the journals on the crankshaft rod journals, and we'll put it all together. Like I said, I already did the plastic gauge on everything, and everything's well within spec. I would say that, to be honest with you guys, this motor will easily do 50,000 miles, no problem. Beyond that, I don't know. So when it comes to messing around with aftermarket stuff like the ACL race bearings and whatnot, I don't see any problem with them. But you're not gonna have the longevity that an OEM bearing will, or OEM anything will, because Honda's really particular about their clearances. Hold on, let me pause this. Come on, young static, chill, bro. All right, anyway, yeah, because Honda's really particular about their clearances. But with a motor like this, it is a performance-oriented motor, but they put the I call the TSX engines, or just any K24 engine, really. The B18 or the B20 of the K-Series world, they just toss some bitches together. I'm being real with you. Most of the time when you take them apart, like when you take the bearings, they'll either be green or brown. I've very rarely seen a non-R block be like a black bearing or a pink or something like that, or a yellow. You will almost never see that on a non-R block, or pretty much like any non-VTEC block for the B-Series. But for these bad boys right here, it's like a big old Lego. Toss anything at it and it should take it. I mean, when I got this motor, it had easily 200 and something thousand miles on it. When I took it apart, I was very in shock on how good the bearings looked. The rings were a little toasted, but that's to be expected. The bearings, chef's kiss. So yeah, anyway, that's enough of my ranting here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do the second rings real quick, and hopefully that shouldn't take too long. Hopefully I don't need to grind any of those down. Judging by how the top ones look, I think we should be all right. And then like I said, we'll clean the journals up real good, and yeah, put the rings on the pistons, put the pistons in the block, torque them to spec. I think the torque on these rods are 26 or 27 foot-pounds, but it's 120 degrees of angle afterwards. So after you torque the spec, you got to come all the way. You bring it around town like SpongeBob. You know what I'm saying? You just got. Hold on. You just got. Bring it around town like SpongeBob, bro. And we should be Gucci. So yeah, I'm gonna knock all that out real quick. I'll bring you guys back once I got the pistons and the rods inside the block, because I think I explained everything I'm going to do right there. I don't think I'll need to stop and tell you what's going on. So yeah, I'll bring you guys back whenever I'm done with this. All right, so number one, I'm eating my words here on not having to gap out the second ring. I'm only on cylinder 1, and I've already had to bust out the grinder to try to trim it down a little bit. I still need to go a little bit more. But, of course, in typical fashion for me, I dropped something. I dropped my filler gauges, and then they all decided that they just wanted to come apart. So, I guess I'll just hold on to the ones that we need for the measurements. See if I can get this out here. Jesus Christ. Alright, that sucks. Make sure that the nut or whatever that holds all that together isn't in there, and it is. So let me get that out real quick. Just imagine leaving this in your motor. You'd have a bad time. There it goes, and what is this in here? Okay, there's the binder. Is there anything else in here? I don't think so. I'll give it a really good inspection, but yeah, that sucks. I guess, you know, stuff happens. Is what it is, such as life type stuff. So actually, let's use camera to my advantage here. Let's inspect these. So I don't see anything down in there. Anything down in there. That white stuff's assembly lube. One of the crank counterweights was hitting the oil squirter, so I had to figure out which one it was. But yeah, okay, I don't think we have. I think we're good. I think. What's that? I think you guys can see that. Oh, let's move the crank. Forgot I can do that. Okay. All right. Well, guess there's nothing left in there. Cool. All right, so I guess, like I said, I'm gonna figure out my mess down here. Honestly, feeler gauges are so cheap. I'm just gonna toss these out. I'll just go to Harbor Freight and buy a new set, but I'm gonna keep the ones that I need to finish up the measurements for the second rings. And yeah, so once again, I do apologize. I will bring you guys back after I get all this trimmed and put together. All right, so I got all the rings measured out. If you see me going on and off camera, it's because I was grinding down the secondary rings. I got them all to 23 thousandths of an inch, which is right in between where they wanted at. I think it's between 20 and 26, so I just aimed for 23, you know, kind of a happy medium. So now, as you probably seen me doing, you know, I use the hose and blowing out the journals, use a little bit of brake cleaners to make sure everything's copacetic here. I just don't want anything big or major to be in there. Everyone will tell you that you want you don't want any debris at all when you go to install any of this stuff, which is the truth. But if you fixate the way I do, which I'm trying my hardest to relax on this build, so much so that normally when I build an engine, like the one that's in the Integra, I'm talking gloves, I'm talking hairnet, like just make sure nothing gets in there. But I mean, I know that is, you know, that's good practice, but for this, I caught myself doing the exact same type of stuff, like fixating on little minuscule things. I'm like, oh no, the motor's gonna blow up, the motor's gonna blow up. No, it's not. It's going to be fine. I'm trying to relax as I build this motor, because otherwise it'll never get done. Because I'll be constantly fixating on the fact that this ring has a little bit wider of a gap than that ring. So now I have to order another set of rings because I messed up that ring. In all actuality, that ring's still in service limit, but I'm spazzing out. You see what I mean here? You see the bounce in the hand motion? relax. Building motors can be scary. B series motors, I know like the back of my hand, like I could probably do it. I'm not going to say blindfolded, obviously, because I can't. But if someone were to toss all the parts in front of me individually, I wouldn't need anything outside of maybe a couple torque specifications, just because, you know, that stuff I just don't remember off the top of my head sometimes. But this is my first K-series motor, so I'm trying to relax and just put it together. Everything so far has been going amazing, but since I'm the one doing it, I'm kind of a stickler about how it's going back together, and I think I'm just in my head a little too much. So anyway, with that being said, the journals are clean. If there's like lint or something on them, it's not going to blow up the motor. That's my mindset. There's lint on a journal, it's going to blow up. It's not going to blow up. It'll make its way out of the system. I promise you, these motors see a lot worse stuff than a piece of lint or maybe a little bit of hair inside the motor. I got the rings onto piston number 1 here. Everything's copacetic. I need to figure out the clocking for a K-series. I can do B-series, no problem, but this is my first K-series one, so I want to make sure I have them clocked correctly. They do not have to be spot on. And I'm only saying that so I can hear it out loud. You know, where it's recommended to go, cool. That doesn't mean that they can't be slightly off by like 2 degrees or something like that. Once again, that's literally how far I get into my head about putting a motor together. When I build motors for other people, it's really bad. It's really bad, trust me. I mean, a motor that should take no more, like having everything should take me no more than like a night or 2 to rebuild, will end up taking me about a week because I'm fixating, and then I get the paranoia afterwards once the person comes to collect their motor that it might not run. It's scary. It's very scary. With that also being said, though, completely off topic here, but I'm gonna remove this shelf and I want to encapsulate that area. I want a small engine building room. Reason being is, like I said, just to keep dirt and debris and floating stuff out of the way for higher horsepower builds or builds that are a little bit more intricate than a factory replacement motor build. So anyway, I'm gonna get the rest of the rings. Well, I'm gonna do cylinders number 1 and 4 first for the first to go. When I gotta run out to my car, I got the fanciest ring compressor for this bad boy because I hate dealing with the ones from AutoZone. Like the ones with the bands on it that you ratchet down, those things suck. I got one of these bad boys here for a B series. This is 81mm bore, which would do every B series outside of a B20, obviously. But it's a Wiseco taper piston ring compressor. You just put some oil on it, slide the piston in, and it compresses the rings for you. It just goes bloop. Yeah, it's really convenient. So I got another one of these. It isn't Wiseco. It's actually, what is it made out of? It was 3D printed. So I want to see how well it works. If it works great, I would recommend it. If it don't work great, I'm going to hop on to the eBay seller's account and be like, hey, yo, this shit don't work. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna run out there and grab that real quick. I'll get these piston rings clogged. We'll slide number 4 and number 1 in. I got to get some more oil so I can lubricate the cylinders. Don't ever put your rings in dry. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I will be right. All right, so I got you guys set up actually in the engine block at the moment. What I'm gonna do, what I should have mentioned earlier as well, make sure that you wipe down the cylinder walls real good. Make life a lot easier. What the hell? Sorry, I think the wind opened up my door, so thought maybe somebody was here. My wife's not home. Hold on, wait a minute. All right, sorry about that. I guess the door wasn't latched and the wind kicked it open, but you know, gotta make sure. Just in case somebody just didn't feel like living anymore and wanted to walk into my house. Anyway, the cylinder wall's cleaned up, and that's why. This is from when I honed out the cylinder. I mean, I had cleaned it beforehand, but it's so hard to get all that stuff out. And you really don't want that floating around in the oil. So just wipe this down as good as I can. I'm not gonna be able to get it all, but that's why it's so detrimental to do your oil changes very close behind each other whenever you rebuild a motor. So how we'll do this one is I'll probably start it, let it idle until it gets the operating temperature, turn it off, change the oil, start it back up, and hold it at about 3,500 to 4,000 RPM for about 15-20 minutes, change the oil, and then we'll put road miles on it. So yeah, all right, let's see what she's gonna get right there. So I got this little guy here. this is the piston ring compressor we're going to be using. 87 millimeter bore. You know, obviously K24 or 2.4 liter Honda motor bore. Like I said, this is made out of plastic. And I'm really curious to see how it works as compared to my Wiseco one, because this is less than half of the price of what Wiseco wants for an 87 millimeter piston ring compressor. So hopefully it works good. I mean, the inner bore looks good. You got to watch it. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell from the video, but this bottom side right here with the taper is a lot thicker than the top. So obviously, and also it's marked, you know, 87. So it wouldn't make any sense for you to do it like this because it's not going to work. But make sure you have your taper part as it's tapering in going down. So yeah, let me get my phone out and figure out what the clocking position of these rings are, and we'll get it that's the ring clock. I'm assuming K20 and K24 are probably the same. And once again, these don't have to be spot on. About, you see how that all says about 45 degrees, about 90 degrees, you know, in that general area. So this is the one, this is what we're going to use. I have this saved. I'll set that right there. Bring out my piston here. Boom. And it says top ring and spacer gap ring. Should be okay. I got it. So it's intake side. Intake is the front of the motor. This is not a B series. That ring's gapped out where it needs to be. Where's this one at? Okay, let's move this one. Second ring, like so. Third ring is good in the position that it's in. Fourth ring is also really good in the position that it's in. All right, so that's done. These are clocked. Hold on, let me back this out so you guys can see. Boom. These are clocked. Now, this is the fun part. So, obviously, like I said, this goes here. This goes down in there. You do not want to put these in dry, like I stated earlier. Is that a crack or? Make sure it's not a crack. It's a scratch. Okay, it's a scratch. See how paranoid I get about motors. Anyway, I'm gonna use the, what is that? It's a 5W30 because that's all I have around. I got some 15W40, but that is so unnecessary for this. Wipe down the cylinder walls real good. I'm actually gonna put my gloves on, and we're gonna lubricate the inside of this as well. You know, put a little bit of oil on the piston itself, and we'll see how she goes in. Hopefully she goes in nice and smooth. We don't have to fight with anything. We should be in business. So, gloves on. I'll tell y'all what, I cannot wait to clean my garage after this motor's put together. Man, I need to get the Integra back in here. It's getting cold outside, so the only reason I haven't done it is because, as you guys can see, I just have stuff everywhere from messing with this K series. Anyway, let's move you out the way. All right, so let me get this all lubricated up. It don't take much. You don't have to lather it down in oil. Just make sure there's a nice coating around. Just to prevent, you know, you don't ever want to start anything dry. You want to make sure that there's some type of residual oil, especially on a fresh motor. You really don't want to start anything dry. So right now, as you can see, I'm just putting a little bit of oil on my hand. I'm running around the cylinder walls here, like so. That feels good. And then also we're going to put some on the piston itself as well. Like I said, that's had to be a lot considering I have 3 different things that have oil on them now. So you got to lather her up. Just make sure she ain't going in dry. That's really all it is. You don't want to put her in dry. You know, it don't work out. And next thing you know, that's kind of questionable decision to be making anyway. Seems kind of sus to me. That's how you end up in jail, bucko. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know where the hell I was going with that. Anyway, okay, that ring is good. Good. After I do this, I like to check the position of the rings again, because since I'm messing around with stuff, you know, obviously there's going to be, things are going to get moved around a little bit. Top of the piston has a little bit of oil on it. That is okay. It's not a big deal. All right, I'd say that we're good. So
it has an arrow here. That arrow is facing towards the front of the crankshaft. The front of the crankshaft is where the snout is. That's where your crank pulley is going to go. Also, if you're not familiar with pretty much any Honda motor, I want to say for most motors, but Honda motors specifically, the valve reliefs for the intake side are always going to be bigger than the exhaust side. The valves come down farther on the intake side than the exhaust side. They're bigger in general. So yeah. And another way to judge this is these rods have like numbers and letters on them. That's always going to be facing, on a K series, going to be facing the front of the motor. On a B series, it actually faces the back of the motor. They're just numbers. They face the back. On the K series, face the front. The front is where your intake goes. So yeah, I got some oil on that bad boy. That bad boy's all oiled up. I should probably put assembly lube on that actually. Thanks for reminding me, guys. Jesus Christ. You guys aren't helpful at all, are you? Gonna let me put that in dry? Didn't we just have this discussion? What the hell's wrong with you? Jesus, can't rely on nobody. It be your own peoples. It be your own fans, man. All 53 y'all. So do your boy like that. Tragedy. Anyway, assembly lube. It's right on there. These bearings are already cleaned up. Like I said, I had the plastic gauge stuff, which means I had to get the plastic gauge off of it, so I cleaned the bearings in the process. Cap on that, a little bit more. I'm almost out of jack assembly, order some more. I like to keep this stuff on hand because, like I said, every once in a while I got to build a motor for somebody. Typically, people, I tell them, bring me everything that you want to be used in your motor, and they bring me the Permatex assembly lube. I don't have a problem with Permatex assembly lube, but I feel like this Jag stuff, it just helps things stick a little bit better. Especially like I put my thrust washers in before I put the crank in. A lot of people don't do it that way. A lot of people put them in with the when the crank's already in, which you can do, but it helps to stick together. That's why I like doing it that way. Anyway, yeah, that's why I like this assembly lube so much. It's really good. Every time, surprisingly, every time I build a personal motor without using Jag's assembly lube, I swear something happens to that motor. It doesn't necessarily blow up, but I end up having problems with it. All right, intake here. Now let's see how well this bad boy does. So hold on, let me, once again, my paranoia is kicking in. I'm gonna check these rings. Make sure none of them are lined up with each other. They're not. Here, actually, I'm gonna turn this third ring a little bit. It's not bad. I just don't want it to be in line with, the third ring was kind of sitting where the top ring is, and it would have been fine, but if I can help it, just make sure they're all facing a different direction is a really good rule of thumb if you've never done this before. All right, let's see how this goes. Ooh, all right, she's going in. Okay, so far so good. Nope, I feel like we're binding up already. What's going on here? Last thing I want to do is break a ring, so I'm trying to do this very, very carefully. And I feel like, yeah, I don't like this. Hold on, let me bring this back up. Let's pull this out. There's something going on here. Feels weird. You guys can't see it, but I'm just trying to make sure everything's copacetic here. Like I said, last thing I want to do is crack a ring on install. I've done it before, it sucks. Okay, so I feel like you really just kind of... Okay, there it is. You got to work it. All right, we're Gucci. We're in business. Boop. There's actually somebody in my house now. I think my wife just got home. Boop. Boop. Oh, going in like butter. Where's my mallet? There it is. Find something softer than piston material to do this with. Don't use something hard. Just a wait. Ooh, crispy boy. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna shout out the eBay store I bought this off of once I get done doing this, because that bitch worked. I like that. All right, that one is in, and I'm gonna get the rings on piston number 4. I'm gonna do them both at the same time. So I'll bring you guys back here in a second after I got the other piston in and everything copacetic. I know I'm out of frame, but I wanted to show you guys something when it comes to putting together a motor. So here in my left hand, right here, I have the OEM bearing that came out of this motor. Boom, boom. here on the right, here's the ACL race bearing we have going in the motor. One trick that's not talked about enough, especially when you're first getting into putting engines together. Everyone's always like, make sure you get your plastic gauge. Well, yeah, you know, you want to do that, obviously. But if you want to save a lot of time on, you know, guessing what you're going to need or whatever, especially because I feel like a lot of people don't actually, is this about to die? It looks like it is. I feel like a lot of people order the things they need for their engine rebuild before they even take the engine apart. So they don't even know what's going on. We're going to take this factory bearing. We're going to take my dial caliper here. Measure this out. Boom, right there. 0.36, okay? Slide you over here. Now I'm going to take the aftermarket ACL bearing. Just show you the difference in clearance. 0.37. So when ACL said that they opened up the clearance a little bit with the race bearings, there's your proof that they do. Like I said, a minuscule difference, but that should tell you right there that if you have them, before you even plastic gauge them, before you even go through that process, get a dial caliper, measure them out like that. You can save yourself so much more time if you do it that way, because let's say, you know, if I would have measured that one out and it was like, I don't know, 40 thousandths of an inch or something like that, I wouldn't say that's necessarily bad, but when you get into like small tight tolerances like that, it can make a big difference if you're not running like, you know, proper oil or something like that. I did it on the Integra, and I can't remember the exact measurements, but the King's race bearings in there were slightly more open than what I thought they would be. So after doing some hardcore researching and, you know, getting over my paranoia, I figured out that everything would be Gucci as long as I ran the proper oil to keep it lubricated. And that car loves 15W40, loves it. Oil pressure on cold start is 85 to 90. Idles 20 to 25, depending on how hot it is outside, obviously. I could probably set that motor up to like a 20W50 if I really wanted to, but I feel like 80 is like chef's kiss at full throttle. I don't need anything more than that. Everything's being lubricated. Anyway, to get back to what I was doing, I got the rings on the second for the piston number 4 here. Everything is clocked, looking good. Where's that bearing? Here she is. Go ahead and put you back in your home. I got my gloves on now. So, boom. Make sure when you're doing this, the tang is facing the correct direction. I mean, I feel like it's kind of impossible to put the rod bearings in the wrong way, but then again, obviously, I know there's, you know, I have a bad habit of giving people the benefit of the doubt. So that is in there. I'm clean the surface of this bearing a little bit. We'll put the assembly lube on it and oil down the cylinder and everything, and give it a toss in there. Uh-oh. What did, oh, okay, never mind. All right, this is cylinder number 1. Also, don't ever mix and match your rod caps, because you'll have some funky clearances if you do that. It will not work out. So right now, like I said, I'm just putting the assembly lube on here. Looks good, nice even coating. This stuff's goopy, I love it. You know what's also, I've also put engines together on Lucas engine oil stabilizer. Works really well. That stuff is molasses, man. It's sticky, it's slick. I wouldn't recommend it. That was a pinch thing. It was a motor that I had to like get put together like as soon as possible. And I was just like, all right, well, if you want it, this is how I'm gonna have to do it. I was like, I can go get the Permatech stuff. And he was like, you know, he's like, I need this motor to last this weekend. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So toss that together. And that motor's actually still in that car and still running. That motor boosted B20 VTEC setup. I don't know who he had tuned it, but whoever did it is a mad scientist, because that car is making, I think, like, what did he sent me the dyno sheet to look into? I know it was north of 400 horsepower. Eagle rods, some low compression. What were they?
some low compression. I don't think they were Wiseco. I'm pretty sure they were NPR. I think they were coated NPR pistons, low compression, B20B setup, boosted. And if anybody knows anything about the B20s, they don't like boost all that much. The cylinder walls at least don't. So yeah, my car's still surviving. Don't know how, but hey, it was as simple as he gave me everything. The only thing I did with that motor is exactly what I just did with the dial caliper and the bearings. That's all I did. And I was like, all right, cool. All right, I mean, they're within specs. Smacked it all together, gapping out the rings. Gapped his rings out pretty wide for blow by and whatnot. You don't want really tight ring tolerances with boosted motors. And he doesn't have any blow by, and the car runs, so I guess I did my job. So, Austin, if you're hearing this, give your man some credit, bro. Come on, bro. You just went like a high 10 like a month ago on that setup, and I ain't heard nothing from you, dog. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, he good people. He just as busy as I am. Anyway, right, so I got that one together. That's number 1. This is number 4. Let's get some oil on this real quick. And yeah. This is going to be a really long video, I'm sorry, but there's not really a good way to shorten this up for engine builds and whatnot. So, you guys right here, zoom me out so you can see what's going on here. All right, don't want you though all the way over there. That's going to have to work for now. So yeah, like I said, bearings in there, assembly lubes on there, rings are in and clogged. Once again, did the same thing I did for cylinder number 1. Grab some oil down everything, get the ring compressor, slide it in, and then we'll flip it over and we'll start torquing number 1 and number 4. So, what do I do with my oil? There she is. Move you out the way real quick. I think I already put a little bit of oil in here, but we're gonna put a little bit more on there. Normally when I do this, I use 10W30. I don't really think it matters, but that's just my preference of engine oil for assembly and break-in. This motor would be the first motor that I put together that I actually use synthetic oil on. B-series motors, you ain't got to. All right, that's pretty well lubed. Check these rings once again, make sure I didn't mess up my orientation. Actually, I did. But you look at that. This is why you just keep double checking, people. Don't ever think everything's okay. Let's see. So, if you can see here, ring number 2 is lining up with the top oil ring. You do not want that to happen. Do not want that to happen. So we get that turned. Ring number 1 is still in the position it needs to be. All right, so ring number 3 is perfectly fine now. Where's ring number 4? Ring number 4 is great. All right, cool. Oil time. Oil on there. Sorry, a lot of this is happening off camera. I don't want to keep moving it around. Like I said, it doesn't take much. You got to remember your cylinder walls also have oil on them as well. What really helps, actually a little trick for something like this, take like if you have honey or something, like an old bottle of honey, heat it up in the microwave, get all the honey out of it, clean the inside of the bottle out real good, and then put some engine oil in it, and you do it like that, just squirt it on there. Or I've seen people even use squirt bottles to do it. My squirt bottles are full of cleaning agents, so I ain't doing that. And I do have a bottle of honey in the house that's pretty much dead, but I'm here, I don't care. Eat what it is. Make sure these clocks are good. That ring's good, that ring's good, that ring's good. That ring is, why do you keep moving like that? Ring number 2 does not want to go home. Okay. I think we are in business. I think. It's a little closer than I like. Relax, relax, relax. It's not that deep. Alright, we're good. Okay, so where's that ring compressor? Here she is. Ring compressor still has plenty of oil in it, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Alright. Final check on these rings. Make sure nothing is lining up. See, this one's kind of lining up here. Let's move you you down there. All right, cool. All right, I'll take it. I'm done. There's nothing wrong with double checking stuff, but there is a point in which you can only do so much, and you just kind of have to accept it. So, all right, so let's get this. I'll try to get this square in here again. What I do last time, I think I just have to work it down, kinda. There we go. All right. Once you get it, it's good. It's just getting everything in position is kind of a pain with this thing. The Wiseco one, everything just kind of slips in like nice and breezy. But considering, God, dude, damn, that thing is nice. Considering how much I paid for it, it's really nice. You get these for the price that you get the little stupid ones that AutoZone or, you know, O'Reilly's for. Why would you do that? I mean, I know this is a one size only, but if you're building a motor of the same family or something like that, like I have the Wiseco one for a B series. I also have one for a D series running around here too. It's worth having 100%, because I know this isn't the last K24 I'm gonna do. Eventually the Integra is gonna blow up, and I'm not putting another B series in it, so this is good to have. All right, that is in there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna 180 this, and we need to go to the bottom so I can get the rod caps on, and then we'll torque them down. So I'll bring you guys back here shortly after I have this all said and done. Once again, I'm sorry for how long this video is going to be. It's probably going to be over 30 minutes long, but there's a lot that goes on here. So yeah, anyway, let me do this real quick. All right, sorry this angle is a little funky here, but it's the best I can do. So we're going to start with cylinder number 1. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to fish my hands down here. I need to move this rod over some. Boom, like that. And I'm going to start fishing it up slowly, if I can get down in here. All right, there we go. Slowly, because I don't want it to accidentally hit the journal with the actual rod itself. I've done that before, and I've actually messed stuff up like that before. Left a nice mark on the journal. All right, there that is. Boom. Numbers and letters are facing the front of the motor. Correct orientation. Here's the rod cap. Once again, see where that is? I can't. You guys can't see it. There we go. See all that? You want to make sure these are facing the same side. Do not put them on backwards. You'll be taking this motor out, and you will be very irritated, I promise you. So boom, there that is. And it looks like that is it. Looks like we're in. Maybe just a little, some more love on this side real quick. Boom. All right, baller. Next, what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna run them down yet, but I am gonna put my my rod bolts in. So, rod bolts. It's weird to me that the K series crank isn't like this, but with the rod bolts, you put oil on them. They have to be torqued with oil. You torque them in there dry, your torque's gonna be off. They call for oil. They need to be lubricated. The crank bolts, no, not so much. You don't have to do that. On a B series, you got to do it, but apparently not on the K series. So these already have a little bit of oil on them from when I was doing the plastic aging and whatnot. But I'm gonna just go ahead and coat them a little bit more. Just be sure they're all nice and lubricated. There we go. There's one. I'll slide you down in place here. There it is. Also, if you're a builder, like let's say you were like me and you've primarily dealt with, you know, a different series of Honda motors for your entire automotive career, these K series require different types of sockets. So they run they're not E-bits, but like inverted torques for rod bolts. I think these are E13s or something like that. I'll bring it up here shortly. I think it's on one of my torque wrenches, but boom, there that is. Sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and get cylinder number Quattro here. I'll go ahead and pull the rod up for that one too, and we'll do the same thing. Brick by brick, we are getting closer. This one isn't as easy to get, so what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna take it and push up from the bottom here. There we go. So it looks like I have it twisted a little bit. No biggie. Push it down some. get it straight. And I don't like that. Let me wipe off that journal real quick. I think from my hands being a little moist, got a little condensation on here. There we go. So I just want everything to be a-okay going this bad boy. Okay, are we in business? Nothing's hidden. Yep. Alright, there that is. Once again, make sure your marks line up on the same side. Do not get them backwards. It'll be very, very bad. Also, I guess a rule of thumb, if you're standing behind the motor, like where your flywheel and everything goes, you should be able to read what this says. It's not upside down, it's RBB, which is obviously TSX stuff. And once again, get your rod bolts, make sure you put some oil on them, and then send them down with your impact to 15 ugga-duggas. Don't do that. I don't know why I'm saying stupid stuff, because once again, I gotta remember that people will listen and do stupid stuff. So I got my rod bolt here, nice and lubed up. Slide that bad boy in here, and there's another one. Slide this bad boy in too. At the end of this video, I'll give you guys all my actual clearances and stuff. I saw everything on the plastic gauge and written down. That way you know. So, all right. For the the nerds like me who want to know that kind of stuff, what you need to know regardless if you're putting the motor together. So, my first engine build I did was actually in my bedroom at my mom's house when I was 16, 17 years old. As a B18, B1. I got for a steel, had recently been machined. It was supposed to go into something, but the guy had decided to sell it because I guess he wanted to move on to something else. And yeah, put that thing together in my mom's room. And ever since then, that first motor I put together lasted the longevity of me owning that car. And then it moved on to 4 or 5 different owners. And then I bought that motor back actually about 2.5, 3 years later. And beat on it some more. And then sold the car. And then it lasted another 3 years. Then the guy decided to boost it. Untuned. Just toss an eBay turbo kit on there and let it read. And popped it. It took almost 7 years to pop that motor. And that's wild as fuck to me. So yeah, anyway, just lightly tightening those up with my impact on the lowest setting possible. These are an E14 socket. Like I said, it's like an inverted torque style. You'll find a lot of this kind of stuff on, let's see. Actually, I've seen a lot of stuff. The seats in like early 2000s, like Escalades and whatnot, running inverted torques. Pretty much anything German runs a crap ton of inverted torques. Chevy Cruises, a lot of bolts on those are also inverted torques. Weird to me. I guess because technically those are Opals, not even Chevys. But anyway, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the torque spec for the rod bolts. So K24A rod bolt torque spec. I'm pretty sure it's like 26, but just to be safe here. So In the Fast Lane has a really good guide here that I've been using quite a bit. I also have a downloaded guide as well for all the OEM stuff, but it's kind of messy to move through. So this says, what is this? Connecting rod, 22 foot-pounds and 90 degrees. I don't trust that, because if I'm not mistaken, let me find it actually. All right, I found it. So the website is called HondaAss.com. I'm not even joking. They have a K-Series rebuild guide on there. It has all the OEM stuff in it.
is what I've been using to put this motor together. So let me find the connecting rod torque here. There's the mains. Guess I can show you guys where I'm at here and how I'm doing this. This is doing a bunch of stuff that I'm not doing, like replacing pistons and whatnot. My piston wall clearance was good. I already checked that. Well, kind of checking it as I'm going, but you know, whatever. Here we go. All right, right. Oh no, where'd it go? Where are you? There it is. Okay. Connecting rod, bolt, apply engine oil to bolt threads, then install the rod caps with bearings, torque to 36 Newton meters, which is 27 foot-pounds, and then tighten an additional 120 degrees. So that's what we're going to do. Where is that bad boy I was showing off earlier that I'm so proud of, and I've already lost because ADHD and all. I didn't take my medicine today. Don't be like me, people. Don't be like me. What did I do? Oh, there it is. See? Once again. Do not be like me. So here, I need to. The only downside about using this is whenever you turn it on, you have to lay it level and flat. That way it brings up the degree, and it's already set. So you can see here, it's already set to 120. If I press FN, that'll take me to different functions. So 27 foot-pounds, and that's what we're gonna run these down to. So I'll start with number 4 here. I like to tighten equally. I'm not gonna run one down farther than the other when I'm doing this. All right, and I think we're about at our limit, so we can start actually applying torque here. Oop. There we go. There we go. And then I'm not going to flip the camera around. I'm just going to do this side as well. All right. Okay. There that is. There that is. All right. Now that that's done, here comes the fun part. 120 degrees of torque here. That's what I have to do. So I'm gonna press FN again. It brings up that 120. I really actually like this torque wrench because I use my buddy's Snap-on one to do the mains, because like I said, I was tired of using that stupid whatever the hell it is I bought from AutoZone. And his, when you let off even slightly, it just zeroes out the degrees. This one will lock the degrees on where you leave it at, and it will stay there until you finish getting to where you want it to be. So Quinn or Harbor Freight, number 1, I'm gonna need a sponsorship, but number 2, this is a good torque wrench. I like it. So like I said, when you're doing the 120, you got to bring that thing around town, dude. It is miserable to do, but I'm gonna try to show you guys to the best of my abilities. Actually, I'm gonna pull you guys out and set you up here so you can actually see it and see how far I have to go for 120 degrees. And I'm not the strongest man in the world. I am very fit. I do have above average strength because I do strength train along with martial arts and whatnot. But all right, cool, that was good. So 120 degrees is what we're shooting for. That's cool. Also, you know, obviously using these Harbor Freight engine stands, they move around quite a bit. So before I start this, I don't really have anything heavy enough to stop it from moving, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna have to use my foot. But all right, let me angle this just right here so you guys can see. Start right here. All right. You see that? See how much work that takes? You got the crank trying to move. You got the engine stand trying to move. It's miserable. But it's part of the game. All right, now
Press the power button. That's another thing with these. Whenever you get done hitting your angle, you got to press the power button. Otherwise, it's just going to beep at you again because it says that that's where it's at and it saves it. But now we're back at 120. Yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna get a little creative. See if I can prevent this from the crank from moving. It's kind of a pain. I'm trying to hold everything together here. All right. I'm gonna be blocking view probably. I'm sorry, but you guys already seen the first one, so. Ah, motherfucker. There it is. Okay. Luckily, like I said, I like that this saves where you at when you let off, because I guess they understood that when you torque stuff, sometimes it moves around. Cool. Now we do cylinder number 1. Kind of screwed myself here. No. So we messed up. I messed up. I have to now loosen that up, torque it again, because when I let off that time, I let off for too long. Oh my God. Oh, and then we just got an error that time. All right, let me back these out. Cheese and rice. See, not everything goes smoothly. I don't cut any of my mishaps out because I know I'm not perfect. So. All right, now I gotta retorque that rod. As you can see, it says error. Yeah, I messed up there. Alright, so now let's do this all over again. And again, I gotta balance it. Alright, 120 FN, 27 foot-pounds. We torque these bad boys, and then hopefully this time it'll work. And then I gotta do like 2 more. This is probably the most annoying part of this, but it kind of, you know, stuff like this is what it is. So. I'd like this a lot more if I had a collar engine stand. It'd make things a little bit more easier. All right. Do this again. So I'm gonna try this a little differently here. Actually, I think it'll help if I find something to hold on to the crank bolt instead of trying to hold the crank with my hand. So is that 19, isn't it? Too much. I wanted to move that out the way. So we'll get our buck 20. That's one. Please stop. Everything keeps fucking moving. Alright, there we go. Man. Alright. Alright. So, all that's done. Make sure I'm moving smoothly. It's moving very smooth here. Alright, so that's that. I just got to do 2 and 3, which I'm not going to film. It's kind of pointless. I'm going to have to trim this section of the video down quite a bit because I was doing way too much. But anyway, yeah, that's that. Like I said, it's annoying. I'd have to, for the next K-Series motors I do, because I know I'm going to do some more, I'm going to have to find a way to, number one, get this to not move around so much. I need to buy a better quality engine stand and figure out how I can lock the crank. That way it doesn't try to spin on me when I'm trying to do stuff. This would be a lot easier with 2 people, I promise you. But I'm solo dolo, so it is what it is. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I'll bring you guys back. We'll talk about everything once I'm done putting the last 2 rods in. All right, so here's the finished product. Got everything in, as you can see. All the pistons and rods are in, everything's torqued, everything's degreed. I figured out a solution for trying to hold everything together while I'm degreeing it. Actually worked really well with cylinder 2 and 3. Didn't have any hiccups. So, that being said, 19. Spin her over. If I'm not mistaken, I think the K-Series moves clockwise, right? So it used to be in D-Series stuff, everything's counterclockwise on those. All right, let's try it clockwise. Hey, can't even put it on there. Look at that. Hold on, let me zoom you guys out so you can see all 4. Dude, like butter. So smooth. Look at that. See, I got my finger in there. That's all. Ah, I gotta love it. Gotta love it. Nice. All right, well, like I said, I'm really sorry this video was so long. It's kind of hard to shorten up a video when it comes to doing things like this. You know, I think this is probably a little bit more informational than an actual like entertainment video. One thing I did forget to tell you guys. No, Monica. Don't worry, I am my biggest comedian. Can't nobody tell me shit. Anyway, whenever you're putting the oiling, golly, man, I cannot get, bang, all right, cool. Whenever you're putting the oiling rings in, it's the brass one, or gold brass in color. It does like a bunch of this, ups and downs and whatnot. And then you have the 2 really tiny rings, or like really thin ones that one sits on the top and one sits on the bottom. That ring, you know what, I'll show you guys. I have some 81.5mm rings up here in my, I might build another engine storage area. And let's see if I can find those rings. There's the 3rd oiling ring, but that's not the one we need. All right, cool. This is it. So I'm gonna show you guys this. It's something that gets overlooked quite a bit. Why is there only 1 in here? How many? Oh, they're all individually packaged. That's weird. Anyway, this one's black. I don't know why. I've never seen a black one. They've all been copper or gold or whatever. So let's see if I can get this to focus. Hold on. So if you look closely at this, you can see how, there we go. You can see how the little ends are going down on there. See how it's pointing down right there on both sides? You need it to be 180. Those need to face up to make a U. So instead of it doing this, it needs to do this. Make sure those are facing up. I guarantee at some point in time I probably put a motor together that I didn't pay any attention to like that, and I may have done that, but that was something I learned a few years back, and I always do it on anything I'm messing with, primarily Honda, since I've actually never rebuilt any other motor. Honda motors, now that I think about it, I think. Yeah, I think. Anyway, but yeah, put that back up there. But yeah, just remember to do that. Other than that, I mean, everything's straightforward, as you guys can see. Everything looks good. I might take like my brass wire wheel, get some more of this debris off the piston heads. But
man, I can't say I'm upset by any means. Ah, man, that thing turns so smoothly. Love that. Hear those rings going ahead and getting themselves nice and set in. You see, they're doing their job. They're pushing the oil up to the top. But that's not how it's actually going to be when it's running. But since I had so much oil on them, it's trying to push it out any way it can, which is good. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. I appreciate you guys. And let's do some shout outs. So let's see here. Let me hop over here. I know I got a couple more followers. Notifications. DC4 Quino. DC4 Quino. I'm assuming DC4 Integra. You already know what the business is, brother. You already know, man. Hey, yo, don't let them Civic dudes tell you a damn thing. They just mad because they broke and couldn't afford an Integra. They'll be all like, well, we're lighter. Blah, 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 blah. And you still slow, bro. Anyway, what else we got? I'm about to butcher the hell out of this. Brother, you're going to have to... I need to get my inner ghetto out to pronounce this. No offense to you, brother. But I've seen this name before, and I know a couple people with this name, but I can't say it without it sounding ghetto, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Shaquantavius. All right, yeah, there we go. Shaquantavius. Shaquantavius. Thank you for the comment on the tablet dash that I did. Funny enough, I actually took that out. The thing was pissing me off. I need to get a higher quality tablet. Do not buy the cheap one. Go ahead and spend a couple $100 and get a good one. Curtis Beef. You got beef, bro? Oh, boy. What you talking about? You ain't nothing. Boy, I'm kidding. Shout out to you, brother. Who else? Oh, 660 Club, dude. You're local? Man, yeah, for sure. You commented on it and you say you know you want to get linked up and whatnot. I am so down. I'm always looking to make content. I feel like doing stuff like this isn't really all that exciting because everybody always wants to see the fun stuff like the racing and the burnout and you know that kind of stuff. But I'm actually documenting the S2000 more so not for me, but for the guy that I purchased it off of. He unfortunately passed, so I want to make sure his family gets to see, you know, what happened to the car afterwards. He was still alive, obviously, when I bought it. But, you know, I just want his family to be like, because I know him and his mom really enjoyed the car. I want her to see it specifically after it's running and driving again, because she's going to love it. Anyway, I think that's it, man. I think I said what's up to Zach Phillips the last episode. So, yeah, Isaiah, what's up with you, bro? I like it. I like that your little picture is just a horse. Hey, man, you listen to Taylor Swift? That's some Taylor Swift ass shit, bro. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Like I said, I'm sorry this one's very long. There's just a lot to explain. There's a lot going on when you're trying to put an engine together. I would recommend just putting this on in the background. If you care to give me a view, don't pay no attention to it unless you're actually doing something similar with your K series in the near future. I would also highly recommend the website that I use to get all the torque specifications and whatnot, and put this up here again because I'm definitely not going to cut it out so you guys can see it. So there's my bookmarks. Give me one moment here. Nope, that ain't it. Saved. Technology, man, I'm getting old. Anyway, this site here is literally HondaAss.com. HondaAss.com. Perfect for the K24. But I want to give a huge shout out, and you guys can actually see here real quick. I stream this stuff quite a bit. Young Static was very helpful in this because there were some questions that I had. Like I said, this is my first K24. That's his first K24 video too. That I had that he explained very well. So shout out to Young Static. I feel like if you're a Honda guy, everybody knows who Young Static is. He's kind of an OG. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Once again, I'm sorry that it's gonna be so long, but I can't do nothing about that. There's going to be some stuff I do chop out. That way it's not super long, but hey, it is what it is. So I hope you guys enjoy yourself. It is the 29th of October now, so that means Halloween's in 2 days. If you get those guys out there with kids and everything, I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. I'm taking my son trick-or-treating tomorrow, and we'll be back soon. I got to figure out what head I'm running, the K20 or the 24 head. Couldn't tell you. I don't know. I still am on the hunt for an RSX oil pump, and I have messed up part is I have one. I have a parts RSX manual car sitting, but I'm just having a hard time wanting to separate that motor, like take it apart. But then I was looking into the pricing of them. They're not expensive by any means, so I'll probably end up doing it and just keeping the block around for. We'll keep the block around actually. Oh, that's a good idea. Get the block around for the Integra once that pops. We got ahead. Probably all that together, boost it, send it, bro. But anyway, that's it. Thank you guys so much. The next video, I don't know. I have no idea. It's probably going to be more S2000 K-Series stuff because I got to get this area cleaned up so I can get the Integra in here. So, yeah, that's going to be about it. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be easy, stay safe. Peace.